our sound should be good. I would hello to everyone. I would like to for you someone to confirm that everything's fine. You should see me and you should hear Ivan.
Hello, hello.
Really interested in today's stream. I've never worked with him. If you want to say something about yourself that can be interesting for the people, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing poker for a very long time, as long as I can remember. Never done anything else. I've played pretty much all the formats, but MTTs has always been my passion. Over the last few years, I haven't played quite as much, although I have still consider myself a professional poker player, and I study the game quite a bit. So yeah, let's get on with it.
Finally, some good English in this channel. That's a change.
Thanks.
So me and Ivan, we're gonna look over some hands. Hands won't be that like wow hands, but it's gonna be interesting for me how he decides to make something, how he is going to approach his thought process, and I'm gonna try to rip some information out of him. Pretty sure he's gonna be a lot more prepared than me theoretically, so I'm always interested in that. So I'm gonna try to get some clues, to get some shortcuts that I can maybe implement in my game and in coaching. So yeah, we're gonna look from. It's gonna be only post-flop hands. It's gonna be different types at the beginning. I've prepared several hands that could be interesting, and then we can look over a certain spot that bothers me. Basically, almost same type of hands, but yeah. Hope you're gonna enjoy. The video is gonna be on YouTube. Finally, Ivan is coming out as a really good poker player, and people will see it. Because I think he's one of the underrated players in our country. Yeah, let's go. So this first hand, it's a $30 bounty tournament. The guy who opens is a regular, and also I think he's a Asian streamer, but I'm not sure. He's a streamer, but I'm not sure. So he's opening from hijack 2.1, being covered by almost always. That's the early stage of the tournament. So I have 4-5 off from the big blind, defend, and flop comes 7-5-3. I'm sure I need to defend here. So let's get on with your post flop opinions. I'll be really curious about your.
So yeah, first things first. I think that the thing that's most interesting about the spot and that you need to discuss is that you need to be developing a very big leading range here. So this is a flop that misses in positions range very heavily. Like from the hijack, he doesn't open any offsuit hands that connect with his board. So this will be your board. It has very little in position, has very little interaction with the board, and you have all the two pair hands, all the straights, all the pair plus draw, etc. So especially in progressive knockouts, when you're the covering stack, you are very incentivized to put money in the pot and like try to get his stack. So yeah, that's the first thing, and probably the only interesting thing in this end, in my opinion, that we should very seriously consider leading here. I expect that there is a huge leading range for out of position on this flop. But of course, checking is fine. I think checking is a mistake. As long as you don't check every time, then obviously it's absolutely fine to check this hand.
Mm-hmm.
No hand will be like a pure lead or anything, but you should definitely be leading a bunch.
Yeah, that's correct. I think if I can calculate right now, if he has starting bounty, that should in this tournament should be equal to at least 5k at this moment. Blinds are 350. So basically he's adding, I mean, what is this, 13, 14 big blinds on top of his stack, which is only 30. So yeah, I think I've missed that one. Frankly to say, I think I've missed that one. So usually my way of thinking in these situations is that I would like to be a bit more polar, but I guess 5-4 with the draw is gonna be enough to stack off on its own.
There's no need to be polar here because he's supposed to check this flop back so much that you don't need to like lead 2 pairs plus. All your hands need protection. Like all your 1 pair hands need a lot of protection because his range will be a lot of high cards, and all those high
Yeah,
cards should either check back and realize, or like when you're betting, you're already just protecting your hand, you know.
yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, it's good for all of your range, bad for all of his range. It's just
Yeah. So
simple and very effective, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, bipolar. I meant like it's rarely that in my mind that I'm leading middle pair. I've when the board is like really good for me, I've caught myself leading bottom pair because it's. I mean, usually I'm gonna face big size bet. So if I don't get raised, it's gonna be better to realize, I guess. And also I can turn it into a bluff on certain cards that are completing straights and flushes if there are some. But yeah, middle pair, I guess maybe I'm not leading enough.
Well, first of all, you're not really supposed to get raised too much here,
Yeah,
for the same reason that you're supposed to donk, and for the same reason he's not supposed to bet this much. It's just because this is your flop, this is your range. He has so much air in his range that he can't support playing a very aggressive strategy on this board, because
correct.
he never has 2 pair. You have all of the 2 pair, you have all of the straights, all the offsuit straights.
Mm,
He has none of that. So if he starts raising, if he starts betting everything, he's just getting crushed in the long run, because just naturally your range is stronger and you just win the hand more often than he would. It's
yeah,
just it's just basic mathematics, you know.
yeah, correct. Another question that I would like to ask is how you implement um, population tendencies in this spot. Like how you profiling the opponents and what do you expect
Um, I
people
am
to
not
do?
a huge fan of population tendencies. Like, you need to be very certain of specific deviations that people do in order to be able to exploit those. Like, of course, you should be exploiting all the time, but you should be very certain of what they're doing wrong in order to be able to exploit that.
Yeah.
So as long as you stick to a very good fundamental strategy, then
Mm.
it will always work out fine. And once you like manage to see something that somebody is doing very wrong, then of course go ahead
Yeah.
and exploit
S-
it. But
s-
like, people in general, I think people are a bit better than most people think. Like, I don't think population is that horrible. I think there is so much information online nowadays that people are playing at least somewhat decently, and a lot better than people assume. Like, everybody thinks that everyone's a fish, and maybe that's still the case on like $20-30 tournaments. I play a little bit higher, but at my ABI, like, I play like 100, 150 ABI.
yeah.
People are a lot better than they used to, and nobody does those like very, very basic mistakes.
The obvious
Yeah.
deviations. Yeah.
So yeah, of course, you still have a plenty of space to exploit, but for the most part, you should. I think it's best if you just stick to a good strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. So my question was more. So I will tell you what my mind is thinking. Like what is my thought process behind checking mid pair all the time. I don't think people are just flatting with over pairs here. I think like people who are not keen in theory, if they see a small bet, they would gonna protect with queens and kings and in aces, which in theory is not a play. And maybe in this situation, because of the additional 15 bounty, he will maybe assume that if I bet, I will never fold. So this could be even an okay raise. So that's in my mind, that's what I'm thinking behind not betting middle pairs that often. But I'm sure you're quite correct in this case exactly, because the gut shot and the additionals like 13, 14 big blinds are really huge difference. I mean, I'm not leading Jack 5, blocking his folding range. I'm leading 4-5, which is totally different. Yeah. I would totally agree.
They're not supposed to call with most of their overpairs. They should be raising most of their overpairs. Sure, they should have some traps, like as you mentioned very correctly, aces and kings are probably pure calls against the lead, but all the other overpairs should raise you. But that's not a problem. Like they are supposed to raise you, and that's not an issue for your hand. What you're trying to accomplish is like get him to fold stuff like king 10 off, queen 10 off, queen jack off. You know, he has a lot of these hands, like they're offsuited hands. There's 16 combos of each of those, and then he's just supposed to check them back and just realize, oh, he's equity, and you don't want to allow him to do that. Like he's not supposed to fold a bunch of hands. He's not supposed to call you with like pocket nines. Like sure, he raised with his pocket nines, that's fine. Like it's not
that's
like
like
nines are like a
100%.
huge percentage of his range. Like just queen 10, king 10, king jack, queen jack, that's like 80 combos or what, like 64, whatever.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned the Jack 5, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Obviously, like jack
unblocking
5,
target.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different. And yeah, and I would like suggest that I think you're even more correct, because people are not trying to raise this kind of hands also, because some of these folds the guy in position should raise as of course as balance of his overpairs. He should, I think in theory he should call a lot with good draws in order not to get 3-bet on the flop, and he should turn into a hand like, I don't know, if he has a hand like maybe Jack 9 sometimes, whatever, 2 overcards without
Maybe.
even without
Maybe.
backdoor flush.
I'm not quite sure what theory looks like. I would expect that just the overpairs to go very aggressive, other than like the highest pairs like aces or maybe kings as well, that the trap.
Yeah.
But all other overpairs probably just raise every time, and just also raise like the strongest top pairs, and that's probably going to be enough. Like a7, king7 overpairs, and that's it. Because as we said multiple times, this board is so much better for the big blind that the hijack just cannot afford to be too aggressive, because he has too much air in his range.
Yeah, quite correct. And now that I'm thinking, there is even more upside, since if people are under raising, I mean, okay, they're gonna raise the value. That's whatever. We're gonna lose to a value no matter what with this hand. But if people are under raising, that's gonna open some new opportunities on ladder streets. Like turning river could be over bluffed. I mean, not with my hand maybe, but with other hands. So
yeah. So the reason I started off with this is because there are very few opportunities in poker from the big blind where we have an advantage and where we need to make money. Because most of the time from the big blind, you're just fucked. You know, you have a capped, a weak range, and you're just check calling with a bunch of bluff catchers hoping to be right. You know, that's what playing from the big blind looks like usually. But there are those specific boards and scenarios where you don't really have an advantage here, but your
you have
overall
nuts
range.
advantage. Yeah, you have nuts advantage. You don't have range advantage, but it's quite
So
alright.
you really need to make the most out of these opportunities, because that's very important to your big blind win rate.
Yeah. True. I've missed that one. I've marked this hand because of another thing that I guess you're gonna mention. Big players in chat also.
Yes.
People who you know, who do you know very well. Slabenson, hello. Yeah. Hope you. I mean, this one's gonna be a really important coaching session for this channel. I would really suggest then to you go to YouTube and really watch it, because I guess what Ivans is saying is how people are making the next step from like low stakes, mid stakes. I'm playing decently. I know pre-flop how to play to the guys who can really crush the game. So I would suggest just get the notepads, get all the pencils, get it out. You're gonna
Okay,
get a
yeah,
bunch
we
here.
spent I think enough on the flop. Maybe move on to the
Yeah,
turn.
yeah. Yeah. So he bets big. I guess raising could be an option if we with all this talk that we. I mean, with the additional 12 big blinds, if he's polarized, raising could be an option. Of course, gonna be a raise for value, but the standard one's gonna be the call, I guess. Correct?
Yeah, I think so. Like he definitely should be betting big on this board because like he should be polarized, should be checking back a lot, as we already discussed. So when he
Mm.
does bet, he should be using a big size. I would assume in theory even bigger than this one. And no, like the bigger the bigger the bet is, then the less we need to raise against it.
Yeah.
So no, I would not be raising this hand once he chooses to bet. Once he chooses to check and he chooses to bet big, which I think
Mm.
is the appropriate size choice for him. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
just check call like you did.
Yeah. So I did check call and turn is on 9, which is again interesting card. Speaking of all these things on the flop,
Yeah,
leading range. I
no,
mean, not with my not with my hand for sure,
no,
but
I wouldn't expect you to have any leading range here. It's not a hand that shifts the equity enough in your even further in your favor. It already is in your favor, but
mm,
no, the nine doesn't change too much. It doesn't
yeah,
complete much. It's like it would be different on a like a 4 or 6 or an 8. All
yeah.
those
Everything
hands,
8 and below
yes,
should be leading range. Yeah,
yeah, we'll have a lot of bigger leading range on those cards. On a 9, I would, I might be wrong, but I wouldn't expect us to have much of a
yeah.
leading.
I think you're correct because even with this in this situation, the only thing that got a lot better is 8-6, and I can check raise for value on the flop and stack off. So yeah, it's I'm not gonna even have all the combos of 8-6. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. So he bets. That's the thing that I wanted to mark this hand. If I remember, it was back in the day. So guy bets 4 in 12 on a 9 turn. Flop is 5-7-3. Turns a 9. Uh, it opens up a flush draw, but we don't have any blockers for the flush draw. He bets small. He's leaving 20 behind, and he has the bounty also. With my hand, I think it's clear what we're doing. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have value, but what is this size? Do you think this size should
I have no idea what's going
exist?
on turn. No, definitely not.
Yeah,
There is no
yeah,
such thing in theory. Like it just doesn't make sense for him to bet this size because you have so many hands that just benefit from check calling a small size that he's just burning a ton of EV, like allowing you to get to the river for so cheap.
yeah,
So no, he definitely should not have this size. He should charge you much higher price because you have so many hands that are pair plus draws that
mm,
just want to see the river and will
yeah,
pay any price to see the river. And
yeah,
he still has all of the overpairs, all of the polarized range advantage that he should be pushing. So no, I don't think that this is a play. I have no idea what's going on. I assume it's some sort of a exploit that is, I don't know honestly what
could
is
be
trying to
either.
exploit.
Yeah, could be either exploit or just a lack of skill and
What
knowledge.
like what I because I you said he's a reg, and if I
He was a streamer, yeah,
yeah if I see a fish do this, I would automatically assume it's just some sort of a weak hand, and I would
yeah,
either raise or just call and not fold most rivers. So that would my natural assumption would be that this is weak, but when a reg does it, it's usually the other way around. So maybe this is strength, but even like the only thing that that Tubata just mentioned that maybe
exactly.
nines make a little bit of sense, sure, but that's just so few combos that we can't just put people on a single hand. So yeah, I would expect this to be strong, but that would be just guessing. So I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much for us. We don't need to read too much into it because we have a hand that is just a very straightforward check call for this size, and
Yeah.
I know I'm making EV from his play, and he is burning some, so it doesn't matter even if he has pocket nines or whatever. Like that, that's his problem. Like we are making EV from this play, not him.
For sure, he's losing. We're making. I would say that I don't think there is a hand that I call big size on the flop that I'm going to fold against this size on the turn.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, it's. I think it's a huge leak in this guy's play. It's gonna be hard for me to float with two overs. Maybe like king queen of hearts. Maybe it's gonna fold, but it shouldn't. Like I would need to think a minute to get to find out one combo that I can fold. So this should never happen. So I called, and river is a queen, offsuit queen. There is no flush, and guy has pot exactly. So he has 21 in 20.6 or whatever. I check, and he jumps. How are you approaching this situation? Like against different people. My question is, you kind of answered it on the turn, but um, again, I would like to go through the options. What if he's a regular? What if he's a fish? What are we seeing most of the times when this card comes? And how do we approach the spot? Because I know people here are not gonna fold if they have ace deuce of clubs, for example. In my yeah.
It really makes no sense to me, this entire hand from his perspective. I have no idea. I've already looked at the hand, so I know what he shows down, but like I do not understand it. I do not think that it's anywhere near the optimal line that he could have took.
Yeah.
So yeah, like theory wise, you have a amazing bluff catcher. That's a very good bluff catcher to have here, unblocking all of those over pairs, all of those over cards that could be barreling,
10.
unblocking
Yeah,
clubs.
the 10 8, Jack 10,
Yeah, so
ace 4 I'm blocking, okay, but I'm gonna always block something.
so yeah, you have a very good bluff catcher in theory, and yeah, that's where like the tough part of poker comes. Like, is what extra information we have from this hand, is it enough to make a huge deviation and decide to fold this hand? I wouldn't. I would not. I would not make this big of a deviation, and I would probably just end up calling. But I can definitely see like more feel-based players, more like people mm, who rely on information such as this more than me to find the fault here. And maybe they would be correct in this instance. I don't know. For
Yeah,
me, it's just a cycle. Like, I'm not happy. I do not expect here to win much, but obviously we don't need to win all of the time.
yeah.
We only need to win a percentage of the time. And yeah,
And
I
this
would just
percentage, even it's not 33 right now, it's gonna be a lot less. So if I would like, if I'm gonna show the hand, he has aces, and I would like for you to get a quick comment about how would you play this hand, and yeah, if it was ZIdix on the right hand side here.
yeah, I would just bet. I would just bet free streets for different sizings. Really,
Hmm.
like there is no reason. Like the flop is fine. What he did, I think is fine. I would personally choose a bigger size, but obviously like 2/3 or whatever he bet was fine. And then on a turn, we just need to polarize and just bet even bigger again, and then river just whatever we have left, we just go all in with.
Yeah,
We
do
can
you
like
go win?
we can be tricky. We can find some checkbacks on the turn, but you don't really need to do that. So you
Yeah, do you
just go
go
bet.
win on the river? I will tell you my point of view because I don't agree that he needs to bet. I mean, against if he knows that there is a regular against, if
Oh,
there
for
is
sure.
a yeah, if there is like 50 if you're right and you are right, especially with a bounty, if there is like 50% leading range on the flop from the big blind, he should check back aces. I think most of his EV is gonna come from big blind overplaying or bluffing or just playing his hands. But yeah, because aces don't need protection, so I would. How am I approaching this pot? 100% check back with aces, 50% check back with kings, and I mean with queens. Maybe if I'm playing against proven over aggro player, I would maybe even check queens back, just because I think my EV is gonna be there. All the time, big blind is gonna lead on small cards, so we're not gonna miss that much, and we're not happy about stacking off. But on the river, there is one more thing that, like, betting like this on the river. I guess you know it already, but I mean, we don't show that this is a bounty. When he goes all in, he actually gives me better pot odds to call. So in theory, he should go not all in. Like, he needs to bet 20 big blinds. That way, my pot odds will be 33%. And right now, if I can calculate quickly, I need to call 21 to win. What is the whole pot? 64 plus another. So 21 to win 70. So basically 28% or something. So these are tiny details that, I mean, they could make a difference against better players.
For sure, everything you said is valid. I completely agree that checking the flop is a very good sound strategy. You can't. I don't think you can 100% pure check the flop with aces. I don't think that's going to work.
I
But for
that's how
sure.
I'm simplifying theory that I've so
Okay,
and so
yeah,
or
that's
so. Yeah.
fine. That's definitely fine.
Yeah.
The thing is, in order for this to be optimal, the person in the big blind must be adequately aggressive on
Yeah.
the streets. He must be probing aggressively, and I'm not sure if people, especially on lower stakes, will be aggressive enough in order for you to justify just checking back 100% of your aces. But if you think they are, then yeah, sure, go ahead. It's definitely a fine play theory wise.
Yeah. I think I'm really racist in these situations. I mean, it's funny, but it's true. I mean, people from
Okay.
southern hemisphere, they just, I think that's how they taught to play. So against them, most of them, I would check back aces. Otherwise, if he thinks I'm recreational, I think what you said is a lot better than what he did. Like, if he chooses smaller size on the flop, he should go bigger on the turn for sure. So I will need a second to get the next hand, because it's I will need to find it. I couldn't get them all together, but let's see. I think it's gonna be a minute.
No worries. In the comments, there's a question: isn't it possible for him to have kings or aces? I assume that was a question on the turn. And I don't think he should have. We already discussed it. I don't think he should have kings or aces when he
Yeah.
bets this size on the turn. I don't think it's very good. But like, nice read. I guess you knew better in this instance. So nice.
Yeah.
I would
That's.
I would I would not have put him on aces or kings personally after
I
this.
mean, it's always possible, but it shouldn't happen, especially from a regular. Maybe it was like a hate tilt noting the hand, because I mean, I think people who are following the stream for a long time, they always know that if a regular makes something that it shouldn't be done, that's what puts me really off my game. Like, this is the thing that I would like. I think. Oh, is this the hand? Was the hand that I sent you three-way, because it's the same combo? Shit.
No,
No. It's not that one.
it's heads up.
Yeah. Was this the bet call hand? For this day, I have about 30 combos of ace queen. I think it's this one. Yeah, it is this one. Yeah. So preflop, obviously kind of a regular opening from early position with 32 big blinds. I need to check if tournament is a bounty or not because I don't know. You need to give me a second. So yeah, it is a bounty. That's, I think, the eliminator 27 or some kind of hot 27. So yeah, 27 bounty. He opens from early. We are covering. He has almost 2 stacks. Let me see the bounty if it matters. So for preflop, I don't know if it matters. He has Johnny starting bounty. So if we are starting with 10k, it's a bit different, but yeah. So I decided to call preflop.
I think
And
that's totally
yeah,
fine.
if you have some comments on preflop, if
No,
he's adding about 3k, then 10 big blinds could be 3-bet call.
you definitely could against like more aggressive opponents, but flatting is fine. It's
Yeah,
not a big deal.
hardly expecting to get stuck with worse. I mean, he should be like really with bad intentions to shove ace 5 when
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
covered for bounty.
I would flat as well, but I wouldn't hate like free bet calling
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
a specific sort of player.
Yeah, the upside of 3-bet calling is that we are gonna deny equity some suited hands from the guys behind, but when we are stacking off, it's gonna be flip at best, and
Yeah, most
usually,
likely.
usually it's not a good idea if we have the self-esteem that we're better than the players to give them flips. I mean, I'm with that kind of mindset. So he decides to check. Flop comes 9-5-3. With 2 diamonds, we have queen of diamonds and ace of spades. So power blockers. What are we doing? He checks.
Uh, I
How are
have
you building your strategy here with our hand, with different hands? What do you expect people to do if you're regulars or if they're a bit off?
I don't have any strong feelings for the flop. I mean, it's whatever what you do. Like, you can do a lot of betting, you can do a lot of checking. It's just a flop that doesn't really favor either of the players. It's a very evenly split. That you probably are supposed to do a little bit more betting than checking with your range, but I don't think you would lose much EV doing either.
Yeah. Do you
So
have any preferred combos that
obviously,
like
like the
pure?
checking, the betting component starts from uh the overpairs first, like tens, jacks, queens. If you have them, the top pairs that need the most protection, like ace nine, king nine, are the hands that you need to bet first. Probably also the sets, obviously for value fives and threes. Yeah, nines as well. I don't think you ever check nines. Nines probably pure bet. But in
Mm,
terms of bluffs, there's nothing that like you need to bet on the flop. I wouldn't think. Like everything is a mix, so
exactly.
there's no big mistake that you can make on a flop like this, I think.
So if we decide to bet this hand, ace queen, that's the for me that's the ultimate merge hand here. Basically, it's. I mean, you don't expect it to get either 2 streets of value, but at the same time, I mean, it's not a bluff at all because it has a ton of equity against his range, even against
Sure,
his check calling range.
it's not necessarily a bluff, but it does deny equity from a lot of hands. And
Yeah,
if out of position is not raising aggressively enough, which he should be, because he should have a very significant check raising range here, then you
yeah,
can just go ahead and bet a ton and just not check too much, because if he just check calls his ace skies and shit, and he doesn't check raise any backdoor draws, any jack 10 sort of hands, then you
yeah,
just have a very easy time playing in position with the betting
yeah.
lead. So just go ahead and bet a lot.
So I'm usually randomizing this kind of hands because I know. I mean, it's hard to understand how people are playing, but what Ivan said was more probably right on the lower stakes you play, the better is to bet wider in these situations because people are not aware that they need to check raise more often over pairs than c betting them, especially against recreationals who are proven that not to play like theory strategy. You should bet a lot more often. I mean, people are afraid to check back to check raise tens. They just bet it first. They are afraid to check ace nine or set of fives. They are betting them first. So in this case, betting is gonna be a lot more profitable because you basically control pot in position and you can choose, um, I mean, whatever combos you like. So in that regard, if you're playing against unbalanced players, the the thing Ivan said that it's not necessary. It's gonna be more like suggestions. Gonna be to play more aggressively. So I decided to bet small, 2 big blinds, and I got raised up to 8.
Easy call.
Yeah, I've made the mistake before to fold this hand because again, I guess from what I'm hearing right now, I'm looking a lot more at population tendencies and what is in my head people are playing compared to the theory. In theory, this hand makes a ton of EV if we call, but I've caught myself folding before just thinking that people are not check raising enough, which could be correct. But yeah, if I want to go to the next step, the next level, I would need to change this thing. So I've decided to call.
Like,
Yeah.
I just want to say, you need to think about those spots rationally. Don't fall into the trap of like being too emotionally let emotions
Attached.
change your decision, because what's the maths here? Like, you just need to call 6 to win, like, what is it, 16, 17? So it's just basic maths. Like, what kind of what percentage of your
22
range do
even.
you need
Yeah.
to fold?
Hmm.
You probably need to fold like a third of your range against this race,
Uh,
I would
yeah,
assume.
yeah. If we get
Uh,
25 of pot odds, which is the case, I think we need to defend. Yeah, what you said. 66 plus percent
So
of our
yeah,
range.
uh, and the ace queen with backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, two overcards. That's very very easily in the top two-thirds of your range.
For sure.
So just be rational. Like, maybe fold a little bit more than MDF suggests, sure,
Yeah.
because people are obviously less aggressive and will have less bluffs, and those check raising ranges will be stronger than normal than the solver suggests, for sure. And you should fold a little bit more than normal, but not that much. Like, ace queen is just a no-brainer
Yeah.
call. You should never consider folding this hand on a flop.
Correct. Correct. Well, learn it in a hard way. So yeah. Um, I called and turn comes 10 of diamonds. We have a gut shot. No, we have a flush draw. Just our queen makes the backdoor flush draw. Pot is 22. He has 23, and he decides to bet 6 big blinds.
Yeah, another massive EV mistake for at a position, just like the last hand. Like, people for some reason just like to play with those small bets. I do not know. I cannot understand why or how they think this is better. But again, this is a turn where he should be going massive. Uh,
Is it?
yes.
Hmm.
I don't I don't
I
I don't see why he would need to go small when you again are very well connected on this board and you have a ton of hands that will just continue against this small bet.
yeah. In that perspective, makes sense. Yeah. In other perspective, I would need to check that out because usually from what I'm seeing in theory, when the flush comes, and especially with tiny sizings, small size are in use because the difference in thin value is becoming more. I mean, it's gonna be really easy for me to fold against big size any 9 right now. Against, I don't know. I mean, what are his bluffs
But
he needs to bluff?
that is the point of the bet.
Yeah.
You should be indifferent with a 9, and you're not. Like you have a very happy call with a 9 now. Like what do you think you're folding to this bet? Like what's the part of your range that bet calls the flop and then folds to this turn size? Like
I mean, maybe some kind of I don't know. I'm gonna fold pairs if I bet like sevens, sevens, eights. I'm gonna have them because they need some protection. I'm gonna have sometimes ace three, so ace deuce, ace four. Sometimes I'm gonna fold if they don't have a diamond.
agreed.
It's gonna achieve enough, I think, against. But you might be right because on
Well,
the
of
other
course, you could
hand,
be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's the
yeah,
way
yeah,
I
yeah,
look at it. So, like, first of all, like sevens, sixes, sevens, I don't think without a diamond you're supposed to bet on the flop. I think those are very good checkbacks. So I wouldn't have those on the turn to fold. But yes, you are right. If you have sixes and sevens without a diamond on the turn, you probably should fold those to this
yeah,
size. But I wouldn't bet them on the flop to begin with. And yeah, so what's
yeah,
left is like those, yeah, definitely those ace deuce, ace three, ace four, those baby aces that have some connectivity to the board. Yeah, they probably fold. Maybe ace queen, ace jack folds without diamonds.
yeah.
But other than that, like the entire range that's left just continues. And I'm not
Mm.
sure if it's a good idea
Now that
to
you're
give
saying
this
could,
good of a price.
yeah, yeah, this could be mixed. The thing is, he could be drawing dead with over pairs. I mean, that's the other thing. But I guess,
But
I guess it needs to be looked like who has more
It
flushes
doesn't
in this
matter. It
situation.
doesn't matter if he's drawing dead. Like it's one
He's not
SPR.
folding.
It's
Yeah,
one
he's not
SPR.
folding.
You don't care that somebody has more flushes than you when the SPR is one. It just doesn't matter.
Hmm.
You
Interesting
worry
one.
about flushes when you're playing much deeper. When you got 20 big blind, what's it, 23 big blinds behind and 23 big blinds in a pot. If you have an overpair, it's going in. You're not check folding it.
I guess.
If he has a
Yeah.
flush, he has a flush. Like life
If he
sucks.
checks, I would bet small. So this is gonna be my mindset. If he checks, I'm gonna bet small so I can, yeah. But maybe out of position, there is a lot more to it to bet bigger and like shove, especially with
Uh,
bounty and
For
shit. Yeah,
sure, for sure. I think you have a lot more small betting in position on the turn here.
yeah.
I can see that.
So I decided to call. That's an interesting. I mean, yeah, I would play the same as him, because that's one thing that I'm simplifying when the flush comes. Most of the times, like most of the times, I'm using small sizings because it shifts totally the equity. Some hands are losing value, and yeah, if I'm gonna fold nines, am I going to shove aces then without diamonds? I don't know.
Yeah,
What are we getting value out of if we have two red aces and I'm just jamming turn? What are we getting value? So there is, yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
it's a difference in opinions. That's fine. Like I'm not saying I'm right. It's very possible that you're right and I am wrong. But for me, it's just when the
Yeah,
SPR is so low, I just don't care about flushes. Like there's you're not supposed to fold a nine. You're not supposed to fold a 10.
that's correct. That is perfectly correct. I'm not supposed to, and yet in my mind, I'm gonna fold it because all of the mentions and basically, for people who are watching right now, that's the difference between playing a wide variety of tournaments with total unknowns. You're trying always to first to put the player tendencies uh, in front of theory because most of your opponents gonna be theoretically non. I mean, they wouldn't know the theory that much. And in Ivan's mindset, it's I'm playing the same people every day or most of them. So yeah, that's the difference. Tubota says that with a 1 SPR, I'm not gonna have that many flushes. He means that if I bet on the flop ace four of diamonds, I would have 4-bet shove, or what is this, 3-bet shove? Yeah, could be. Correct on that. He's correct on that. With I think in this tournament it's gonna be about 7 or 8. I think 9 big ones added. So I think he's got a point also. That makes the big sizing more probable, in my opinion. So river comes a king. I've called, of course.
If you could just go back to the turn for a little bit.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to mention, it was that I think that just jamming here is a very viable option with your hand, because when he bets this small, I would, like, we already discussed that this is a difference of opinions, but I would assume this is a weak range. I would not expect him to have, or at least a polar range, like a lot of weak stuff and then maybe some nuts. But for the most part, I would expect this to be hands like, like at most like king nine, maybe ace nine, like some top pair
Yeah.
hands that just want to charge you not to see the river for free.
Mm.
And I think that shoving counters that pretty nicely, and makes him fold a lot of what I assume most of his range is, which is 9x.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, I think shoving here and making him fold his 9x
makes
and still
sense.
having a ton of equity against his calling range is
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, and we're gonna have about, what is this, 25-30% against jacks.
Yeah.
So the only, I think, Spectre, hello. I think in that case, if someone gives you here ace of diamonds, it's like pure jamming for you. Like,
I think queen of diamonds is better,
is it?
as opposed to the ace of diamonds. Yeah, because you kind of want him to have some bluffs with the ace of diamonds. So yeah, I think queen of diamonds is a little bit better, although probably doesn't matter too much. Like, these are just very small EV differences. I
Yeah.
think I'm sure it's fine with both cards, but I would personally prefer the queen of diamonds over the ace of diamonds.
Okay, in my mind, ace of diamonds blocks, like, again, difference in the whole mindset of the game.
Well,
So
again, you're trying to think about like very strong hands with the
exactly,
nut flush. I don't care about, like, if he
exactly.
has the nut flush, he has the nut flush. Again, it's just one SPR. It doesn't matter. It's not like you're getting in
Could be.
5, 6 SPR drawing that. You just get in like one.
Interesting. Yeah, because I would suggest blocking the nut flushes when he can bet it small, just because he's don't want to like miss value or whatever.
Yeah,
Would be better.
I think you're seeing monsters on under the table when there isn't one. Yeah, but maybe.
Story of my life, I guess. So yeah, River is a king of spades, and he checks. Now, my question to Ivan when I've sent a hand is: do we need to bluff here?
For sure. I love it. I love it. I like it. I don't think you show down for any. Like, I don't think you ever win if you check. And I also think he has a very weak range, but still better than ace queen high. So yeah, very easy shove, very nice shove. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are gonna be some? Okay, question: can we turn a pair into a bluff? Do we have? I don't know if we have pairs. Maybe if we have like eights with the diamonds, do we turn it into a bluff?
No.
What could be
No.
my other bluffs here? Do you think there's some? I mean, maybe I can have ace jack with ace of diamonds. It's gonna be almost the same. Although ace jack is, it's less likely for, in my mind, to be a check, a bet call on the flop, because I'm like, if he's bluffing, or if he has a merge range with ace queen, I'm not winning. But with the ace queen, I'm gonna win against most of these. So I don't know.
I would just bluff the ace queen. I would not bluff eights or sevens. No. I
You
think
won't
they're
one
strong
bluff.
enough to they show down for a little bit. I wouldn't expect to win with eights or sevens, but it's not impossible. Whereas with ace queen, it's basically impossible to win the pot.
Okay, Dr. Zhechev, I have a problem in general. I'm struggling playing when there are no bluffs. So I have problems of me saying fuck it, I'm gonna take all my value. I'm gonna go win always with flush, but I don't care that I don't have sets. That I don't have bluffs. How do you approach these kind of situations against a regular? Do you try to turn like showdown hands into bluffs just to balance it out, or you don't care?
Oh, I do care. I tend to play like over the last couple of years I've started playing a lot more theoretically sound poker. I used to be a lot more exploitatively oriented, like you suggest in some spots. But as the game evolves, as people get better and better, it's much harder to find, as I said, to find those exploits. So I think that having a good sound strategy, good fundamentals is a lot more important in today's meta. So yeah, I definitely try to find the bluffs if I can. Obviously, there are spots like the thing is like you make money in poker from your value hands. As long as you play your value hands correctly, you'll be fine. Like the bluffs come
Yeah,
second. You need to make sure that you're making the most out of your value hands and make sure you always value bet those value hands for the appropriate sizing. And then just after that, find the bluffs if you can, for sure. Yeah, if you're playing against very good opponents and that will read your hand correctly and will always fold when you have value, then yeah, for sure you have to work on finding those bluffs. But yeah, the first
yeah.
step is always like being optimal with your value first.
Yeah, as you can see, my the first thing I was struggling and trying to find out on this board is what else we can bluff, and I'm not seeing anything because yeah, I'm gonna trap all the flushes on the turn. So basically, I'm gonna play defense when I get check raised and bet on the turn, especially these positions, lower binds, bounty. He's covered all the red lights, but and yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of value like flushes. I don't know, top two, whatever. Top two, no, but two pair and sets, whatever. But yeah, I'm struggling to find bluffs, and
It's a good
especially auto piloting. It's even worse. So yeah, these are
it's
my problems. I cannot
it's a
sleep
good
at
spot
night.
as any
Please
that
help.
it's a good spot as any to exploit actually. Like you don't even really need to care about the theory of the spot that much. Like the guy has shown his weak on multiple streets. Like he started off check raising the flop, sure, but then he bet small on a turn where, well, I think he's supposed to bet big.
Supposedly, yeah, supposedly
And
big.
then he checks
Listen,
the turn, which also he
the
should
river.
be betting for with almost all of his range. So he's shown weakness on multiple streets. Like fuck theory at this point. Hey, sure, go ahead, bluff,
Exactly.
bluff, bluff, bluff, whatever you like. He's folding. Like the guy is not checking and then calling here with a strong hand. Maybe he finds some hero calls with some weak hands that he's trying to get showdown with. Maybe, but for the most part, I would just expect him to just be check folding here. So yeah, just go ahead, bluff everything if you like. Just don't
Correct.
check. Just don't check with hands that can't win. That's the important part.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need a second. I did bluff, like for the sake of the
Nice,
result. I did bluff the river, and he
very good.
folded. But yeah, as you can see, since I'm trying to find the next hand, as you can see, it's not like so people who would like to improve in that game, and they have some kind of a decent base. It's not discussing the correct combo, like scrolling through the streets really quickly, it's not gonna make you a lot better. It's the thing that's gonna start make you listen. So right now from this hand I would then stop the stream. Maybe I need to eat, maybe, but at some point I'm gonna check the turn strategy, and I'm gonna try to remember something that people are not gonna be keen of doing. Like we could all both be right, and yeah, so knowing the correct things, that's gonna make me have a bit of advantage over even regulars. I guess Ivan's gonna do it also, and that curiosity is gonna drive you forward. Otherwise, like learning from playing is not gonna work in 2024. Fuck, that's yeah. So let me try to find the other one.
Yeah, I actually think the other two are Oh, there's 3 more, but 2 of the other 3 are interesting.
Yeah. So ace of spades, queen of clubs.
Especially the last one. Hope we get to the last one.
Yeah, we're gonna get ace of spades, queen. It's gonna be fun if we can find it.
It's
Because I don't want to show the screenshot. It's not gonna be good. Check. No.
I don't know if the order matters, but in the screenshot, the queen is first. It's queen of clubs, ace of spades.
Is it check? Bet? No. 6th of July should be.
It's heads up, and the flop goes check, bet, raise.
Okay. Is this one big blind?
In the big blind, yes.
Okay.
Against the cutoff, yeah, that's
okay. Cool. So looks like a tight player opening from the cutoff. He has 70 big blinds. I have 55, and I decided to call pre-flop comments.
Yes, pure free bet.
Pure free bet. Folding
No,
to
I mean,
shove or no?
At 50, I think it's absolutely mandatory. You're a little bit deeper than that. Probably at 60, you start flatting a little bit. Although I would be surprised. But yeah, I would just pure free bet this. How tight can it be if we can't raise ace queen off for value against the cutoff? Like, I wouldn't expect that to be true.
If there is a guy who shouldn't raise 14-10 with 20 still should be the guy. But yeah, in general, you're correct. And I saw one thing that is really, I mean, you couldn't see it from the screenshot, but this is a Saturday bounty tournament.
Mhm.
So in that case, pure 3-bet.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would always free bet.
Yeah.
It's obviously
Yeah.
like not a absolutely huge mistake or anything, but yeah, I think it's significant enough where you just need to be free betting every time.
So yeah, if we can just get a touch on why is a good 3-bet, it's gonna be horrible if he shoves, especially lower binds. I mean, we're gonna flip sometimes. Hardly we can get shoved by worse, but it happens. People are overplaying ace jack ace 10 sometimes, so it's not the end of the world. But again, I don't want to stack off like for a zero EV or close to zero EV. But 3-betting, the advantage of 3-betting is he needs to call with a lot of hands that we dominate post flop. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and we kind of make SPR lower with 2 high cards, which is a good thing. So I think correct. He's perfectly correct. Ivan here, I should have 3-bet.
And again, like don't automatically assume that again he's just shoving on you. Like, you're playing over 50 big blinds deep. He will shove on you very rarely, and when he does, yeah, it sucks. And
Yeah.
against some players, you even have to fold. But that will
Yeah.
happen so rarely that it really doesn't matter. That's not where the EV comes from in this spot. Like, for the most part, he will just call, and you will play against the dominated range post flop.
So I guess if we want to get some math in it, because I've heard Ivan did it on the turn several times, mentioning minimum defense frequency. What I would suggest is trying to find out how often he would fold, he would 3-bet, and he would call, and take a look at the EV. No, not the EV, but the equity. Just put the hand in the calculator, put his calling range, and you can see the upside there. We're gonna, if we 3-bet post flop, we're gonna win. I mean, I guess 65% of the times at least. So that's the EV, and that's how it should be done. So flop comes. I've decided to call. I guess scared by the guy. Flop comes ace 7 deuce 2 hearts. We don't have a heart. We have an ace of spades if it matters for a backdoor, but that's about it. So at this point there is no leading range. I decided to check. He bets 2 in 5.7, and I'm going. I'm raising to 7. Any comments about that at least, or
Yes.
no need?
I have
Yes.
some
Okay.
comments on this.
Cool.
First of all, you should be aware that on this board, our raising range will be very limited because we're fucked. Like this is a board that's very much better for the imposition player.
True.
So yeah, we should not be raising too much in this spot, but obviously that doesn't go for ace queen. Like this is the absolute top of our range, and I would
Yep.
raise this every time. I'm completely fine with that. Um, but just be aware that this is a board where like we don't raise much. We raise very little, which in turn allows us to raise for a big size because our range is very polar and very strong. Because like we don't raise any 7x, we don't raise like ace 5 for value, we just raise like ace jack. Well, we're not supposed to have ace queen pre, but let's say ace jack and like ace 7, etc. So yeah, I would personally go bigger. And yeah,
Makes sense.
um
My shortcut here is I've studied. So the later his position, the more late his position is, the more I'm gonna raise. In my mind, I would raise here always ace jack ace queen because, as you said, it's top of our range. He's gonna call with, if he's opening ace x offsuit lows, he's gonna have a lot of combos that we cover, that we dominate, and I'm gonna maybe raise ace 10 with a heart, and that's gonna be about it. About bluffs, you can find a ton of bluffs here. People are starting to get creative, and in theory, if I remember correctly, uh, the number of bluffs that we can have should be at least twice as many as the value combo. So, I mean,
well, that
I
would depend on
I, I
the
can
sizing, but
yeah, I can find a lot of bluffs in this spot. So I'm not trying. Usually, I'm trying to not miss the value raises. So I'm gonna check call top and bottom just to have a really strong hand, really strong hand on the turn. These are the things that I saw in solvers. Ace deuce pure call, ace 7 pure raise, ace queen, ace jack pure raise, sevens deuces pure raise because I'm blocking every ace, and bluffs. Yeah, I'm gonna find some king of hearts and gut shots. King of hearts, queen of hearts, and some gut shots. These are gonna be my bluffs.
yeah, one thing that people will often miss, and it's obviously like very technical, but us not having the queen of hearts allows us to raise more and for a bigger size because it opens more combos for him to continue with. So not having the queen of hearts here is good. It's not bad. Like you don't need more equity. You just need to let him have the queen of hearts flush draw, the queen x of hearts flush draw.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
so yeah, not having the queen of hearts lets you raise bigger, and maybe you should raise smaller with the queen of hearts and bigger without it.
Do you have two sizes there? I'm always trying to simplify.
It's fine to have one. I'm just saying something, a
Okay,
little
okay.
trick that people will often miss,
Yeah,
and that
that's
the
why.
solver won't miss this, you know.
Yeah, that's why you paid the big bucks. I mean, that's a good insight. I thought trolling was gonna go the other way, but it's only me that I'm trying. So yeah, he decides to call. Ivan has a point. I mean, so the thing is, in my mind, he's gonna have auto folds. That's why I'm using small size. He's like, if people are just folding Jack 10, we should have. I think my strategy is gonna be good enough. But in higher stakes, people are started not to fold when they have two backdoors. Like for example, Jack 10 of spades. No one's folding that combo anymore
Of
in
course
high
not.
stakes. Of course not. As
Are
you
people
10
folding
8.
then on lower stakes? Yeah, that seems crazy.
Oh no, they do fold it, and
Yeah,
they never. Yeah,
you
for
can get
sure
you can
they
get
fold.
absolutely crushed if you start overfolding.
And in again in lower stakes, that spot is over bet because like ace with two low cards could I don't think it's pure c-bet from the cutoff. Might be wrong, but yeah, people over c-betting, especially with bluffs. So,
No,
and if
this
they,
particular flop will be a pure range
yeah,
bet.
yeah, I think you're correct. But if it's ace five deuces, it's gonna be
Yeah,
different.
maybe a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. So turn is a six of diamonds, and now this is an old leak of mine that I don't know what I did here, but I have the tendency to check more than the population after a check raise. I don't know if it's good or not. I've checked my numbers; they're kind of correct with GTO. But is it better? I don't know. I've like, for example, regulars here on six exactly. They maybe just gonna fire off whatever they had.
Yeah. As a general rule, I wouldn't expect people to bet for me. So when you have a value hand, just bet yourself. Don't like. It's not like he will start blasting off on the random six of diamonds. There's no reason for him to go crazy now. So
Yeah,
it's much more
it,
likely that he just calls your bets. So just keep betting. You have a very strong hand.
correct. Especially if my assumption is that people are not defending Jack 10 and 10 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do, that could be I mean more nuance to it, but if they don't, yeah. So I decided for a big bet here. Do you like it?
Yes, I would just go geometric on this turn and just go like same bets on the turn in the river.
Yeah.
Try to set it up so that the river bet is the same as the turn one, but that's not a huge thing.
Yeah. Did I make it geometric?
I
If
think
he
so.
calls, yeah, yeah,
I think so.
almost, yeah, could, yeah, yeah. That's also a good thing to get used to. Like, it's funny how people are thinking that chess is easier than poker. I don't know if it is. Ampasan is in the chat. He's like top 5,000 player in the world, and he couldn't tell me which one is easier. But people there are trying to predict moves, and lots of them. And it's a shame if you think you're a good poker player and you just make bet without thinking what is going to be your next decision on the river. And sizing is what it starts with, for sure. Because right now, if I make like 21 bet, it's gonna be really obvious that I'm ready to stack off, and it's people are still doing it. So yeah, predicting our bets, it's a huge one if you're playing against good players. So I decided to bet big. He calls, and river comes a king, offsuit king. So flop the board is ace seven deuce with a flush draw, offsuit six, and king of spades again offsuit. Do we have value on the river with ace queen?
Easiest value jam of my life.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, like you wanted to get trolled. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like this, there's no, there's
I
not
mean,
the second of hesitation there before I click the all-in button.
is it? I mean, yeah,
No, to be completely honest, like if like we're playing against a perfectly balanced strategy, sure, like maybe a sliver of check gets in there, and maybe ace queen doesn't like print money shoving, but in reality, there's no way that I would ever consider checking. Like, especially if your bluffing range on the flop is wide enough, balanced enough, then you have
yeah,
so many bluffs that brick
correct.
by the river that he is supposed to call you with a seven on the river. I'm pretty sure. He's not
That
supposed to
would
fold a seven because like all your bluffs bricked. You have all the flush draws, all the 5-3, the 5-4, stuff like that. I'm sure you have some other disconnected bluffs as well. So if you want to bluff those, then there's no way you start checking your strongest top pair, which you're not even supposed to have
correct,
pre-flop. So yeah, I think it's
correct.
extremely easy value jam.
Yeah, yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm not folding, so if I want to go check now, I would need to get some bluffs from him, and when the king comes, makes it even less likely to happen.
No, I would not expect that. It's the same as on the turn. Like, do not expect people to bet for you unless the card that comes is something that changes a lot. Like, this king doesn't change too much. Like, don't expect people to start betting out of nowhere for no reason.
So
Just bet yourself.
yeah, if he has like Jack, I've seen myself. For example, if the river was like a Jack, I've seen myself checking back King Queen and winning. So I guess you're always gonna be correct on that. He maybe can check back Jack 10 and win if I check. If we go check. So yeah, it's not mandatory for him to bluff even these combos, and he doesn't have that many no mate hands because they should be flush draws only. Even if he has 10-9 on the flop, he's not gonna call it without a flush draw on the turn. So if basically I think I needed to think, or I don't know, I should have thought about it, that he's gonna bluff no man hands. Yeah, that's not a good spot at all.
Again, I think you're thinking in the wrong direction. It's not about what he's going to bluff. Like, sure, but first of all, like that is not a texture that will get bluffed on. But
Exactly.
even so, like, it's much more likely that he calls you rather than he bluffs. Like, there's so many hands that he can call you with. Like,
Yeah,
as I
and
said, he's not supposed to fold a 7, and he has so many 7s and so many worse ace-x that it's just so easy for him to just click call.
yeah, and he's not gonna value bet ace jack ace 10 on his own, which is the other important part.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, blunder.
Yeah.
Big one.
For sure, this is the worst EV mistake of the hands that we looked at.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned earlier, that's horrible. Like, I didn't look at the showdown when I was looking at the hands, but not getting the money from this hand is just so bad for your win rate.
Yeah, basically it's again thinking street by street. So if I'm not three betting ace queen, if I hit this board, I should go bananas and get it all. I guess.
I mean, I would like I would always value bet ace jack as well. Like, ace 10 is where I would start considering checking. Like, even ace
Yeah.
jack, I would just pure check raise and bet shove.
Yeah. That's another one. So I will need a second to get the next one ready on the 28th.
Yeah, while we look.
These are really old hands, by the way, but I see myself doing these mistakes over and over again. So that's
Yeah,
gonna be
I
this
mentioned this earlier as well, but like, money in poker comes from your value hands. Like, you can be the best bluffer in the world. If you're not extracting the maximum from your value hands when the opportunity arises, then you're not going to make money in poker. So just make sure that when you have a good value hand, value bet it for the appropriate sizing, and that's where the money comes in.
Yeah, and especially I'm playing lower binds. Yeah, it's that was a bad one. Повче здрави. Yeah, бат Данчо най-накрая. Най-накрая английски на този стрим. So next one is a6. I have a6 from the small blind. Hijack opens for two big blinds. I decided to call.
Okay, I
How
was wrong.
often?
This one is a pretty huge EV mistake as well.
Yeah, I have the tendency not to tag hands that I think I play well. I'm just posting them for fun to friends of mine.
Yeah,
But
obviously, yeah, there's no point in looking at hands that you've played perfectly, of course.
no, I don't know if I played perfectly, but if it's a good result, I'm gonna post them for fun. I even plan to make a Discord channel in the server that's gonna be named Big Players. That basically you can outplay, so we can make some kind of a big hater list or something.
Yeah,
So
somebody
yeah,
stole that from me. No, I came up with this thing, like, big players, and somebody stole it and gave it to you. You know.
uh,
That's
I
It's
guess
not.
they are
It's not.
lurking in the chats,
Yeah,
both of them.
that's not good. Not good.
I didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna correct myself.
Um,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
call
care. I
them.
it's good. The people can use my great wise knowledge, but yeah.
I mean, ZIdix. Not
You should
sure if.
you should give
Yeah,
me the credit for it though. Yeah, like
I
that.
didn't know. I will. I mean, I'm gonna give me your like socials and yeah, let's take it from there. Yeah, you're gonna be advertised in this huge channel, so everyone will know you're the
That's good.
stand-up poker comedy guy.
Okay, we can work something out.
Look who's laughing. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, obviously, like, yeah, it's
uh,
fucking
I'm
obvious.
not,
It's
I'm
always
not
the
gonna
same.
point fingers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to name him, but Ivan is his name. Yeah, and yeah.
Okay. So question preflop for 60 when I'm covering. Uh, how often are we three betting? Do we three bet this combo? Is it pure call? Just for the sake of it,
That is not the hand that you've sent to me.
isn't it?
No, you I think not.
Okay, even better, even better. You're not
I don't
gonna
know.
be
No.
prepared.
Yeah, okay. I don't know this one, but okay. Let's take a look at this one. But that's not the one that I looked at.
Yeah, there's gonna be the next one's gonna be on point also. The
So
uh,
what happened? It's. Let me just take a look because I up until now I wasn't
okay,
looking at
okay. Now I'm
the
getting my
numbers.
money worth. Now
No,
I'm
because
getting my money worth.
the big blinds are very small. It's 80 big blinds deep.
Yeah. He has 63. I have
Okay,
80 something. I'm gonna give you another bonus. It's not a bounty.
okay. So yeah, I would mostly free bet this, but
Yeah.
sure, fine. Okay, we flat.
Yeah, I think like 70-30 or something could be a good.
I don't tend
ar-
to randomize too much, but okay.
I think I would suggest doing it. By the way, gives like lifts a lot of
What it does, it
res-
takes responsibility of you, which is not good.
exactly.
You should be responsible for your actions. Like there's
I'm
no like higher being who decides for you. You're the one who
y-
making the decisions.
yeah, but if I want to mix, I would need to be responsible to know how often I would mix it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Checkmate.
Sure.
So I decided to call Jack 9-7 two hearts. We
Sure.
have first row
Sure.
leading.
That deep? I don't think so. Maybe
I'm
some,
not
but
doing it. I'm
I
not doing it, but yeah,
I
I've
would
seen it. I've
I
seen
would
it.
not expect too much leading, but maybe.
I think for us to lead, we should have some offsuit combos that are going to be nuts, and 10-8's not one of them. Jack
Yep.
9 off's not one of them. So I guess that's how I approach analyzing without a solver. And I would suggest for everyone not to use solver before doing this what we are doing right now. Solver is a crutch, and I mean it's gonna help you with some things, but overall it's gonna slow you down if you're missing doing your homework on your own. So okay, so I decided to check. He bets 4 in about 6, so big size. Do you think he has to have big size here? How often do you use big size?
It's
What?
fine. It's definitely fine. It's not like you have too much of an advantage, and in general, like big size, like one of the reasons to use a big size would be where the turn would change the strong pairs from the flop. So like if you have a hand like an overpair or ace jack, like almost any turn will shift the equity, will change, will weaken your strong one pair hands. So betting big, probably fine. Although at
Yeah.
this SPR, I am not quite sure. I'm not studied
Do you
enough,
think
but
it's only big size, or do you think he should
no,
mix?
no, I
Yeah,
would I would not
no,
expect it to be
me
big,
neither.
big only. No.
I think he should bet a lot more often with small size because we have a ton of out of folds here. Like I'm most probably I'm making a mistake not to three bet enough. Most of us are doing it pre-flop, so that makes less combos of king queen.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. But we have all the under pairs that are really in no man's land on this flop. Also, most of people are not three betting the lower aces due to his charge right now.
Yeah.
So I guess these are indifferent to small size, or maybe like they gonna pure fault against small size. So I would prefer small size in general. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can mix like a third and like 2/3 or half pot, something
Exactly.
like that. Don't need to go like super big here.
Correct. So how are we approaching this pot with a6? Do you
Oh,
think it's a good check raise?
mm, ah, I think it's whatever. I
Yeah.
don't have any strong preference one way or the other. I think we can mix it, and it will be similar EV. I would personally call, but I wouldn't hate raising.
Hmm. Yeah. So simplifying, I guess. Again, this is what is this? Oh, it's at least this is later, but simplifying. I usually check raise cards that are unblocking his folding range, but what is unblocking in this spot? I don't know. So usually I'm check raising ace deuce to ace6 here, and the other at least I'm calling because I can be with the best hand more often. Like
It's
they stand.
very hard to find hands that will just fold to a raise right now, right? Like, what is
Yeah,
his folding range? I don't think much.
he needs to bet small pairs, and usually people don't.
Yeah, I would not expect him to be folding too much. Like, in order for him to have a bad folding range, he would need to be betting, yeah, like small pairs like ace king, ace queen. And I don't think people bet those sorts of hands. I think ace king, ace queen probably just checks back, tries to realize
Realize
equity
equity.
on a
Yeah.
turn. Yeah, maybe he bets stuff like ace deuce through ace four, like lower king x, king four, king five, king
Hmm.
six, those sorts of hands that just bet fold. But for the most part, people are, I think, are a little bit passive and scared on those connected boards. So yeah, I would expect him to have a reasonable hand here and would not raise, but obviously like not a mistake or anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're correct. Raising couldn't be minus EV for sure. Could be a difference, but yeah. Uh, Now that I'm seeing, I raised to 9.5, which now that I'm seeing, I don't like it at all.
What was his sizing? I can't see that.
He bet 4 in 5.8,
Or
and
and
I
you made
made
it
it.
9.5?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is not a thing. Like
yeah.
there's definitely not. He's definitely not folding much to this side. Like you need to choose a size that makes at least part of his range indifferent. Like right now, sure, you make him fold his out of folds, like king six of spades or whatever,
That,
if he bet that at all.
yeah.
But first of all, we don't know if he's betting that, and second, like that's still just a very small fraction of his betting range. The majority of his range will have good connectivity on this board, and we'll just have an easy call against this size, I think.
I guess this is a pure example of this thing that your like memory and autopilot makes on you. So if there is a big size c bet and a small re-raise, that's gonna work if the c betting range is wide. So if you're in the big blind and someone is in the cutoff and he's gonna use always small, always big size, you're gonna check raise in small and you're gonna profit by him auto folding a lot. But that's not the spot, so I don't like it at all.
It's also the board texture. Like it's very hard to find the out of
Exactly.
fault in Jack
Yeah.
9-7.
Exactly. Exactly. You can find it in the other situation, but as you're correct here, he's not gonna bet ace five that often.
Yeah.
Or something like this. And most of these I'm beating either way. So if I decide to raise, maybe it should be with more authority. But yeah. And I got punished instantly. I think it's a $50 hyper this one, but I'm not sure.
Well, yeah. Well,
So
at this point, we're just going with it. There's no other option. It sucks. But,
do
yeah.
you jam it or do you call?
Oh, I'm all in. Like I don't want to call and then fold a turn or something.
And
Yeah,
that's what I did. I think
Yeah,
that's what I did.
that's what you did in the hand of in the other hand too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Um,
And we can't fold. I mean, I don't know if we can't. I'm not great at this sort of math. Maybe you can fold, but if you're calling to fold the turn, then just why are you calling the flop? Just go all in on the flop. I think
but isn't the spot is getting like too out of?
it,
I
it
mean,
is it is going
yeah,
getting out of line. Yeah, but
yeah,
we've kind of forced it, right? It's our
yeah,
fault.
exactly. I made it to myself.
But
Although his size is, I mean, he's raising from 9.5 to 17. I need 20% pot odds. So, I mean, maybe my just call decisions is not horrible. Maybe it's against some players even gonna be better, but
maybe maybe.
the problem is the decision to raise this flop that
Mhm.
way and against this size exactly. So yeah, autopiloting should be better. I I think we all should have autopilot, but it should be better. Yeah. So yeah, turns comes 5 of clubs, and I even have a good shot right now, but
Yeah.
the size is a slight overbet 30. I need to win 33%. That means I need to have what is this close to 16 outs, and I don't think I have it.
Yeah, it's close. It's definitely close on the turn, but yeah,
He
I don't
needs to
like it.
have bluffs for me to be able to call.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. I would expect he doesn't. Although like, he could still like I don't know, maybe king queen or something, king queen of hearts, king queen of clubs. Maybe he shows up with those once in a while.
Yeah,
King 10 of hearts, king 10 of clubs.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I wouldn't fold, but yeah, I can see your point. But I wouldn't get in the spot with to be in the first place.
Yeah, as you can see, there are tendencies. Ivan is telling how at this point we should go. I mean, obviously he's gonna play a more aggressive style than me, and you can see it in. I'm gonna always look for value with Ace Jack, which I won't ever look for value on the previous hand with Ace Jack. Ace Queen, I think, is a massive mistake, but I guess I would need another year of like slaps and punches to get my mindset into a different thing. And now when he raised and invested that much in the pot, he doesn't want to fold, and I'm seeing only the worst part of the variance. But yeah, so yeah, this hand should be put in a calculator, trying to form um, flop range for bets, and let's see if we can get enough folds if we jam, because I could poke the bear with small raise on the flop, and he made some kind of a weird shit with king 6 of clubs sometimes. No one can guarantee he won't. So yeah, I guess. Which was the other one that you wanted to see? So
Well, we had a
the
six sort of hand. If you want to skip that over now, I don't know. There was another a6 of hearts that you sent me.
another
Was not
one.
this? Yeah, that
Uh,
was not the hand that you sent me. That's what I said in the
oh
beginning.
shit! Let me see if I have
Yeah,
another
but
one.
it was similar actually, actually. But
Okay,
yeah, it
let's
was
go
different.
then to let's go then to 8 8 7. I think that was
Okay,
on one.
because again, like you folded the turn with a nut flush draw. You check folded, which was crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, I think I remember that one also. I mean, I did it here. Could it be on the same? Oh, actually, it's on the same day.
Oh, okay,
It's this hand.
probably yeah.
Is this one? Is this
Yeah,
one?
that's the one. Yeah.
Let me see. They have 4 hour distance. So for 4 hours, I made it
Yeah, right. Okay.
basically made the same. So I open from early call from. This looks like a Brazilian name. I'm always looking for the Portuguese kind of style names. So raise button calls. I'm from low jack, about 40 effective. Flop comes kings 8 7. I have with 2 hearts. I have king of hearts. I have a6 of hearts, so I decided to check the flop. Could we have c-betting range in this spot? Do you
Yes,
think?
for sure we could, but checking is fine as well.
Yeah,
You're playing against the widest flatting range outside of the big blind, and you're opening the tightest range on the table, right? So
yeah,
this is a good spot to bet, to see bet, especially on a king high board. But obviously, like you need a lot of checking as well, and a six of hearts will
yeah.
definitely be a fine hand to check. But yes, you should be betting at a reasonable frequency in this spot.
What are his auto folds?
Well, there's plenty of stuff that
The low
he gets to
pairs
fold.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's well, not only that, he can have like I don't know, queen ten of spades, ace five of diamonds,
mm.
anything. There's plenty of hard faults on a
I'm
king
trying
ten.
in my mind to be sticky with queen 10 sometimes, but yeah, I guess against most players it would be fine to have a c-betting range. So I can see myself c-betting like 30% here, maybe something like this.
Oh,
But
I think you
you
should be betting more than 30 for sure.
more? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's another
like at
tendency of
least
mine.
like not anything huge, like not 60 or anything, but at least like 40, 45, maybe
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
I guess at least 40 would be my
Mm.
guess, but I don't know what the exact numbers are. I've never been like very precise with this sort of stuff, but I would be surprised if you're betting anything less than 40% in this spot, c betting.
Could be, and it depends on the player also. I'm trying to check raise enough, but I guess it won't be ever enough. So he bets 2.5 in 6.2, and I decided to make it 7.5.
Yeah, I think the check raise is great, but I don't like the sizing. I think it's very small, and I don't think you put any pressure on his range. Like what you're trying to achieve here is making hands like nines and tens indifferent. You want to make hands like ace of hearts and ace of hearts jack indifferent. All those hands have a pretty easy time continuing against your size.
Hmm.
So I would always raise it. Well, not always raise this. I would check call sometimes as well. But if I choose to raise, then I would choose to raise for a much bigger size than that.
9? What is much bigger?
At least 10 big blinds.
10.
Yeah.
So basically, we're setting up a river turn jam.
Probably, yeah. Well, obviously we can't fold once we raise, yeah. But we have hands that could raise and fold this, yeah. It's not
Ju-
impossible.
yeah, just watch me.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
he calls, turns a club
Yeah.
of deuce club. No, it's the second flush draw deuce of clubs. And I guess I want it to be tricky.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't see what what's the EV in this. Maybe you wanna explain to us.
In my mind, sometimes he's gonna bet small again with a hand like Jack 10, but I mean that doesn't make sense that much. So I think in this situation we would try to check shove as a bluff, folding better hands, and I don't. Now that I'm watching the board, I don't see that happening. What is he folding here? I don't know. Like
Well,
maybe he can fold Jack 10, but what are we achieving? Not get bluffed, and that's it.
no, that's not a thing when you're playing out of position because you're not getting to showdown against those hands. They might as well beat you because they're never checking it down, you know. So what does it matter if you have the best hand if you're never getting to realize that equity? He's not going to
Uh,
just check it down with Jack 10, you know.
exactly, that's the idea. But so I guess uh, my try was for him to bet more combos that he would have called me, and it's not gonna happen here.
Yeah, I don't think that works. I would just go all in on a turn. There's a ton of hands that fold. Like, he has all sorts of Jack 10, 10 9, Jack 9. So many hands, like nines and tens even. All
So
those hands.
you don't have problem folding worse hands.
But they're not, that doesn't matter that they're worse. What does it matter that they're worse? Like they would beat you. They will win the pot. So what if they're worse? Like the hand doesn't end. Like he doesn't just check with
No,
all
I'm
sets.
gonna check jump turn. That's the checking strategy. I'm not gonna, but I didn't expect that to happen. So he
Yeah.
jumped.
No.
So I didn't expect that to happen. I prepared the check jump turn, and could be good against some players, but against this special
No,
one,
I think the SPR is way too low for that. Like,
uh
yeah,
huh,
no, I don't like it.
yeah, that could be a problem.
And yeah, once
Like,
you check, I guess you have to fold. I guess,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
sure. But yeah, just don't put yourself in that position.
Do you think there are players that could have more bluffing range here than value
It's
if
extremely
they
easy
bet
to
small?
overbluff this.
And that was my point, but the problem in this hand is that I didn't expect him to jump.
Yeah,
Just
but he's not betting. He's not betting small with his bluffs because his bluffs are all
exactly,
draws. So it doesn't make
exactly.
sense. And
That's what's wrong in my head, I guess.
yeah.
So
Just
I would
make your
never
life
bet big
easy
in
and be
position.
aggressive. Like stop being passive. Stop being like trying to call stuff and like getting like just be the aggressor. You know.
Fuck.
It's a little bit too tricky. You're trying to be here. I don't like it.
Yeah. So yeah, should be a really perfect storm for him to bet all the combos that he has on lower than king, like floated queen jack, queen 10, 10 9, and stuff like this. Maybe against this player, yes, but the bigger problem is
They're all jamming. All
is
those
the
sets are
SPR.
jamming. Like they're not bet folding. Like why would they bet fold? Like they're not just betting a third. Like why wouldn't he go all in with all those sets? And they have a flush draw as well. Like he's not. I don't know. Maybe he might bet fold like stuff like Jack 10 of diamonds or something like that. But I wouldn't count on it. I don't know.
Ricky Ricky. You know him? Tricky Ricky?
Yeah, and another thing stolen from me. Like all his nicknames are all my
Really?
all of them. He's so lazy he can't think of his own nickname. So everything he's ever called himself is all me.
The punt police also?
Yes, of course. That's also me.
Bravo.
Ah, Kaimi.
Bravo.
Normalno.
Ne?
Nee, nee, maar.
Ah, tilt. İsmamlik. 8-7 off. Was it 8-7 off?
Yeah, eight
Yeah,
seven is the last hand you sent me.
yeah.
It's
Oh, we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah.
it's a interesting one.
Yeah. Of course, I'm gonna play 5,000 hands on this exact date.
Kolus je kolu, da.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. 8-7.
8 of clubs, 7 of diamonds.
Shit. I have a bunch. 8 of clubs, 7 of. Is it check raise bet? Yeah, I think it should be. This one? Jack 9 deuce? Is it this one? Or is it check? No.
Yeah. Jack 9 deuce.
Okay.
That's the one.
Okay. So, I guess unknown player opens from low jack. And he has 120, 115. I have about 60. Defending from the big blinds. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of big players, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no 3-betting with that combo suited. I would mix sometimes, but yeah, that's fine. And flop comes Jack 9 deuce with 2 diamonds. We have 7 of diamonds. He bets 1.8 in 5.7.
Yeah.
Are you triggered by this sizing?
No.
I
Yeah,
am.
I mean, yes, for sure he should be going a little bit bigger. for the most part, but I don't think it's a big deal. In general, flop sizing is a little overrated in my opinion. Like people care too much about what they bet on the flop. It's not going to change too much, but yeah, sure, he should be betting a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Is it
But
a good combo? Even though if he had the right size, is this a good combo in
uh,
your opinion?
no. So what I want to say about this hand that first you're quite deep. Maybe you should be using that combo at a higher frequency when you're more shallow. But the
Hmm.
deeper you get, the higher the threshold for your bluffs. We want to have more equity the deeper you
Yeah,
get.
the open enders.
Yeah, so you don't want to raise this weak of a gut shot on a flop here because you just don't have enough equity. Also, another thing is that you need to compare your hand to itself. So generally, always bluff with the higher diamond. So if you had the 8 of diamonds, 7 of clubs, that's a much better bluff than the 7 of diamonds, 8 of clubs, because it's just a way to control your frequency. If you bluff all of the 7 of diamonds and all of the 8 of diamonds, that's going to be way too many bluffs. So you just stick to
True.
the higher card.
I'm
Just bluff here
gonna
when you have the 8 of
yeah.
diamonds.
I'm gonna overbluff the spot every time because that's the way my mind is set. If like people are betting big with their more often, they're betting big as a range. I think Jack High is almost pure big size. Sibet. Now that's another leak of. I think that's a leak of everyone because you're always looking at the opponent's play through your mind and your
For sure.
perspective.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
that,
and
that is a
that's
huge
that
thing.
that is people who actually solve that problem is gonna be the best ones, I think. But for me, it's kind of impossible. And again, what is this? 9 p.m. Sunday. I maybe in my 7th hour of playing, so I would have been washed up a bit. I
Yeah, but
mean, I'm joking, but yeah,
yeah, it's really important to differentiate between what you think you would do and what like the person on the other side of the table
yeah,
would do. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, that's a big problem for everyone. Yeah, I tend to do that quite a bit as well.
Everyone tends to do that.
But
The
just
yeah,
also, like, for sure, don't put that much emphasis on the flop sizing. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. I'm also sure that you're correct in that big size is the most used size here,
preferred.
but
Yeah,
you will not lose much EV if you're playing a correct strategy, a correct range with a smaller size.
yeah. Lee, hello. Nice to see you, sir. So yeah, do you would suggest calling here every time?
Yeah, as I said, no, you can, probably can't fold with a diamond. It's already like it's already shitty situation because you don't really draw too much. And like as I said, like the deeper you are, the higher the threshold for putting money in the pot. So like here, even if you hit like the nuts, the 10, you still often lose a huge pot to the
Yeah.
king queen. So
I
yeah,
guess you're right. Yeah, I
you
guess you're right. It
probably,
starts with the value hands. We cannot raise Queen Jack here for value. 55 deep, I think.
yeah, queen
So,
jack is close. Queen jack is going to
I mean, it
make
has backdoor straights, but basically, we're not playing for top pair to bet three
no
streets of
top
value. So,
pairs are pure raises this deep. Even
yeah.
ace jack won't be a pure raise this deep.
Uh, yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm sure. Probably
Correct.
close, like very
Yeah,
high
yeah, yeah.
frequency raise, but definitely not
Correct.
pure.
And
So
I'm
yeah.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
also setting myself to a trap here, like drawing to drawing that for yeah, if he has like king, what is the straight?
yeah.
He's gonna have higher straight. Yeah. So
As I said,
maybe.
like just stick to the higher diamond. Is a good thing to try and do. Just raise when you have the higher card diamond, the backdoor, the flush draw. And just as deep as you are, just try to pick like a little bit better draws to raise.
Mm, correct.
You have
But
plenty of flush draws here. Like you have all the flush draws that you can raise. You don't need to go as low as like a random very weak gut shot to raise. Like you have all the you can raise just all the ace high, king high, queen high flush draws.
yeah,
There are plenty of
in
calls.
my mind I will go like after this thing, whatever coach I'm gonna get from like whatever coaching. I wanna go and make kind of a filter for people betting small here because until I'm not convinced, I'm gonna think that's gonna be a good over bluffing spot, and I'm gonna still try. But yeah, on my task from after your suggestion is to put it through my like grinder and see if it's correct. And again, these are more random people, so yeah, we could be both wrong. So yeah,
Theory wise,
but
it's definitely not great to overbluff here because it's just a bad board for you. And a decent board for him. It's just as
yeah,
simple as that. It doesn't matter
he,
what sizing he chooses. Like if he's playing like a good pre-flop range, then you're just fucked. And there's nothing you can do about
yeah,
it.
he doesn't have many outfalls, maybe except a6, ace5, with no backdoors. These are the faults. Otherwise, he needs to start folding pairs. Like if he bets them, because we don't know if he bets fives
When
here.
you're thinking about a range, always think about the offsuit combos first because
Yeah,
there's so many more of them. And he
he,
has no offsuit faults here against small raise. Like he
true.
will like what is he opening? Like probably offsuit tens. Like that is probably the
Jack ten
weakest
off.
hands.
Yeah,
Jack ten off, queen ten off, king ten off are hands that
yeah.
won't fold. King
Maybe
queen
ace ten
king
off, but
queen
there's
won't
gonna
fold.
be yeah, exactly. Maybe ace yeah, king queen
Ace
impossible.
ten, but only without a diamond. Sure, that'll
Exactly.
fold.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And these are again half of the combos, and
yeah.
there are too
Whereas you
many.
have so many more bullshit in your range that it's just not a great idea to over bluff us. A spot where you're probably like 60-40 equity wise against him, so you're just crushed basically
Could
on
be
the
even
board.
less. Yeah, correct.
So yeah, just choose better bluffs with more equity here. Well, flush draws is enough, plus some stronger straight draws and a little
Do
bit
you
more
turn
polar as well.
small pair into a bluff?
On the flop?
Yeah.
No.
And
You
in
mean
that
like in deuce
regard,
X?
yeah, like for
Sure.
example, deuce three of spades or something. But I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe deuce
maybe.
seven of spades. But again, I'm trying to find more bluffs when there shouldn't have more. But yeah,
Yeah, all those hands are very, very possible bluffs, but like it's none of them are mandatory. Like the EVs will be very close, so you don't need
yeah.
to try and go crazy when there's
I'm
other parts of the game where we need to be more focused at.
yeah.
Not
I'm
finding the
gonna
not finding the deuce four of hearts race here is not going to hurt your game too much, is what I'm
yeah.
saying.
I'm gonna cut the stream, but if I'm triggered by like people doesn't need to know that, but if I'm triggered by this, I'm trying to find more bluffs than I would think there are in theory. For example, like now deuce seven of spades, deuce eight of spades, deuce ten of spades. I'm gonna go almost full frequency here. Like these eight sevens, all of them. No matter if I have diamonds, just
Well,
because I
you
think
you you get crushed against more aggressive opposition.
yeah, correctly, correct. Just yeah, need to. I mean, rewatch my reads live and let's see if I'm yeah. And this is gonna be the process. Basically, you try something, you prove it right or wrong, and go on with it. But these are some really good insights that you're getting today, and hope you all like it.
No
Me, 40
problem.
people, nice.
Good.
40 people, nice.
Well, I hope everybody learns something from this. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, I was going to say that the thing about like the problem you have with over bluffing is that it's just Imposition just doesn't need to do anything special to counter you, just to crush you. It's
Yeah.
just pre-flop ranges. He's just that much stronger than you pre-flop.
Mhm.
It's not that he will start making some very tricky flop free bets or anything, or just the insane floats. He just connects with this board very well, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, hard for him to make a mistake.
Yeah,
So yeah, I decided to raise because of the sizing. That is what I know. I mean, I'm not gonna go. I
yeah.
can even fold against big size, which it should be. But from what I'm seeing, people are using it like with the guy with the aces, the streamer. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so turn is 4 of diamonds. He calls. My sizing against not that big, 1.8 to 7.5. I mean, it's a bit better this time. I'm giving a bit worse odds than the previous hand, but I mean, it's okay. If I think that I need to overbluff in this spot, I would need to keep his range wider. So yeah, these are the red devil things that
Can
are
we
coming.
see the turn sizing again? I missed it. 7.5.
The flop size, yeah.
The turn.
No, I've turn. I haven't
You was
shown
talking about
anything.
the flop. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
turn comes 4 of diamonds, and in my mind, I'm betting only small here. I simplified my strategy of betting only small. Reason are, again, I would like to keep higher, like wider range. One pair type of hands not gonna call me off if I have two pair or flush. And yeah, these are only upsides of this bet that I'm seeing. This is my way of thinking. I'm waiting for yours. We have 2.5 SPR.
it's definitely not a spot where you need to go huge, but only small is definitely not the way to go. Like you can definitely go like half pot because this turn is really good for you.
Uh, okay. Half pot is my big small size.
Ah,
So
okay. I would.
I'm gonna mix half and like 1/3 here.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. These are the sizings that I would use as well. A third and
because
half.
because I'm seeing a bunch of regulars betting big when the flush comes.
No. You
You
don't need to
you
go much
you
higher.
included on the previous.
Well, it was different, but
Yeah,
yeah,
SPR was different, correct?
SPR was different, positions were different. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I would also mix like a third and half pot, and I think that's that. Those are some good sizings. No need to
yeah.
go much higher than that. And I would bet just my entire range on this turn because so many of my bluffs on the flop were flush draws that I would just bet range on the turn. I'm sure it's not a theory approved to just go range. There will be some checking range, but
People are
that's
doing it.
you
From what I've seen, people are doing it.
just simplify to betting range here. I think will work out just fine.
Yeah,
It's just too
correct.
good of a turn
Yeah.
for you.
It's an interesting because with 7-8, if a 10, like a 10 or a queen comes, it's gonna be kind of interesting for my bluffs because I could have obviously some bluffs connecting with a 10 or a queen, but at the same time, it's his range is full of hands that won't fold when the 10
Mhm.
comes. He
No,
needs to fold top pair if it's going to work, and it's not gonna happen.
I completely agree. The queen is a totally different story, and I think on a queen you have a bunch of checking
Yeah,
because yeah, that's a much better card for imposition. Even though it's a flush card, they will still connect very well with the queen, and you can't just afford to blindly bet. You need to be very much more disciplined in choosing your bets. You have a lot more checking going on.
correct. So I decided to bet small, 6.8 in 21.
Sure.
Card, yeah, the card's too good. He calls, and the river is a 9 of hearts. Bricks the river, and we have 8 high with flush draw blocker. I have 41 in 35. If I play this hand and I'm thinking straight, should always jam it here.
First of all, I think you have two sizings here. I don't think you only need to go all in. You can have a 10% size or something really small as well. Um, but of course, you can just simplify to just going all in. And
What is 10% achieving? I know it, but let's.
well, you have a lot of fans that just want to value bet for a small size, such as your strongest top pairs. They
Mm.
can't value bet for all in. Like you can't value bet the ace jack. You can't go all in with ace jack on the river, right? And you still have value in this hand. Ace jack, king jack are hands that I would always just bet small on the river. And like you, obviously, it's very, very, very hard to find bluffs with 10%. You don't really need to do that. You don't need to
Yeah.
carry about that. You just need to get the value from those hands, because
Yeah,
uh,
and in my mind, with my crutches, top pair is never a block. But at this point, I don't know what else we can have.
it's
Yeah,
totally fine to check as well, but
it's
it's
more
a good
probable
strategy.
for me to check flush and full house compared to top pair. To block bet flush and full house compared to top pair. But I've had fair and share bad experiences
No,
with
I don't think you
with
really
that one also.
to block. I don't think you do a lot of block betting with any flushes. I would assume maybe some full houses, like Jack Nine probably wants to block bet, but yeah, but that's just getting too
Yeah,
technical
these
with
are
it.
details. Yeah.
I just wanted to add that you definitely
Mhm.
should have a blocking range as well. Um, but yeah, in terms of the more prevalent option, which is going all in or checking, I think first of all, like I wouldn't have this hand to begin with, as I said, like I would never raise this hand on the flop, but eight of diamonds I would have raised. And on the river, there's basically two ways to choose your bluffs, or like two systems that I use.
Mhm.
And the one which is way easier and very effective in 99% of the cases is just go from the bottom up. Just bluff the bottom of your range, which is very effective, very simple, and this is the absolute bottom of your range.
Yeah.
And this would mean that I would bluff it always. The second system is like choosing the specific combos that unblock your opponent's folds and block some of the value, etc. And
Ace five, ace three, ace five with ace of diamonds comes to mind if I'm gonna overbluff this point.
yes. And optimally, like you would combine those two systems, but obviously it's extremely hard to do that in game when you're
True.
especially when you're multi-tabling. So I always suggest people to just stick to just bluffing for the most part, especially if you're not playing like super sophisticated opponents. Just bluff with the bottom of your range, and it will very very very rarely be a mistake. There are some very specific spots where the bottom of your range loses some EV, because they have very specific blockers that you don't want to have. But like 9 out of 10 times, just bluffing the bottom of your range is good and effective. And yeah,
Yeah.
8-7 absolutely qualifies as your bottom of your range, and then go from there. The hard part is knowing where to stop, and that I can't tell you exactly how to figure this
Yeah.
out, but you have to do that on
True.
your own. Like
And I mean, it's gonna be hard because it takes two to tango because you don't know what the other guy's going to do. And I guess at this point, you make what you think is correct and you take some notes about opponents. That's
yeah,
what you're hoping for.
for this specific thing, it doesn't really matter what the opponent does. Like you just care about your own strategy. If he chooses to make a mistake and call you too wide, fine. You're still making EV. That's
Yeah.
on him. You just need to think about your strategy. And yeah, like start from the bottom up. Like you don't have any worse hand than A7. Yeah, I can't think of any. So
I hope
A7
so.
is
I hope so.
a
Yeah.
mandatory bluff, and then you go up. Like what is the next weakest hand? That will be 10-8. And ten
Yeah,
eight with a diamond. Yeah, I would always bluff 10-8 with a
for
diamond.
sure.
And then
For
there's
sure.
then the next one is 10-7 and etc. Like you
Yeah,
try to get.
actually, this is going to be better because he can have queen 10 right now and I'm blocking. But I
Of
mean,
course,
yeah, yeah,
8-7 is better.
for sure.
And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about this hand.
So I got called at the end for the sake of the thing. He had the flush. Yeah, that's also makes a lot of sense.
It's kind of good that you got called because it's a very good example of how he does nothing and still. Okay, give me a second. Добре, тате, и сега идвам да вечерям. They're calling me. My son.
Yeah,
It says it's
yeah.
dinner time.
Hope he watches on TV. I mean, yeah.
And now he's sad that I didn't go. Yeah, I'll need to go in a minute. But yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's just a good example that he didn't do anything special and he just wins because like his range is just that strong and yours is just that weak and you don't need to overbluff this because you just run into it so often.
Exactly. And even if his weekends, he has a weak semi weekends on the flop, gonna continue,
Yeah.
not gonna fold. So actually, better to have to fold. Okay, I'm gonna leave you. I don't want to make.
No worries, no worries. I'll go in a minute. It's fine. But I had a lot of fun. I hope that
Yeah, it
people
was.
just hope that people find some of these things interesting, and if anybody learns something new, that's great.
Yeah. Usually when the chat is silent, that's the good thing. Now people are maybe typing on notepads or they have like a pen and paper and doing it the homework. But
Yeah,
yeah, as you
hopefully.
can see, if I can summarize everything, as you can see, complex thinking about the game is what you need to do if you want to make the leap forward. And yeah, this channel, most of the people are are playing lower stakes and whatever, but yeah, you see the inside the details. Yeah, this should be, yeah, exactly. When the gods are talking, people are just silent. Correct.
Not
Correct.
really, but yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, thank you, sir. That was really great.
no, thank you. The
Video is
opportunity.
gonna be on YouTube. Show it to, I mean, I don't know. You need to show it to someone who doesn't believe in you that much. Okay. Wish you luck in the tours that are upcoming. I'm sure I'm sure people will try to
Yeah, when will
find,
we see you playing live?
hopefully in June, but hopefully in June. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll see you in
Otherwise,
Vegas.
there are really huge high rolls here in Varna, like $30 every 30 leva every day, and
Aye, aye,
um,
aye.
a monthly tournament of 200,
It is
which is
business.
on Sunday. Yeah, so I'm usually skipping this. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna end up the stream. Sim racing a bit later. Yeah, it's not gonna be that interesting, but yeah, I'm gonna embarrass myself on stream again. Thank you. And yeah, I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Thank you, guys. Goodbye.